Oh, come on. Sorry, my watch. There we go. All right. So let's do it together. Again, on the previous slide with the mortgage, it should have been monthly payment. I wrote mortgage payment. I don't know why I wrote mortgage payment. I guess I read it wrong. I am sorry about that. On an earlier slide, that is. Yeah, you know what? Let me show you. Right. Yeah, it should have been monthly payment. Here I had mortgage payment, so I am sorry about that. But here again, with monthly payments, right, that's how we know we're paying monthly. That's why N is 12. So again, we're assuming in this example, monthly payments, and so the number of compounding periods equals the number of payments. You know, that's what we're generally assuming with these, unless stated otherwise. You're making payments or withdrawals as often. That's the number of that is equal to, excuse me, I messed up. The number of compounding periods a year is as often as you're making a payments or withdrawals. So in this example here as well, right, we still don't know what P0 is, right? I mean, it's the same problem essentially, but we just changed some numbers. PMT, right, that's the monthly payment. So in this case, it's going to be $300. You know, that's given to us. R, the interest as a decimal, the annual interest is 0.099% to a decimal. This is going, excuse me, since we're making monthly payments, the number of compounding periods is 12, right? Again, it's compounded as often as we make payments or withdrawals. Six here, okay? As you can see, 6, that's how long this is going on for. So we're using this formula, okay? We're going to use this formula and we're going to calculate. So we substitute as we see, okay? PMT, R, N, right? T, and so on. So now we have to calculate, right? Just like before, we figure out this quotient down here. We figure out this thing up here as well. We work separately, so to say. So we do the denominator first. We get this. The innermost parentheses first. We have 1 plus 0.0075, right? That's 0.09 over 12. Next, we added those. We got 1.0075. Thought I wasn't recording for some reason. So we have this. Negative 12 times 6 is negative 72. That's the exponent. So from here, right, we get this. We actually, so we took this number and raised it to negative 72. Right? That's what this is. I would use a calculator for that. We have 1 minus this, as you can see, okay? Right? That's what this number is. Again, we're working from the innermost parentheses out. So we took this difference, we get this, we multiply, we divide, we get this. So now the biggest loan she can afford is this. So on the plus side, at least, she can afford a more expensive car. You know, before we had like something like 12,000. Let me double check. We had, what is it? Right here. We had this amount, right? That's what P0 was. So she can get a bigger loan, which is nice. Again, I rounded to 2 decimal places. Here I use 6 decimal places. I know I'm being kind of random with the number of them I'm using. I mean, here there's only 4 because there's everything after 5 is 0. You know, the decimal here is terminating. I think that's what they say. So I like to use 6 or 7 decimal places, just letting you know. So going back to this, we got a bigger loan, hence we got a more expensive car, right? But now let's consider how much money is she sending, excuse me, over, not we, her, to the loan company. Well, she's paying $300 a month for 6 years, right? 6 years. So $300 a month, but we want to get to years, so we times 12 months per year. Then we times 6 years. Right? It's just like that factor label method. All the units are going to end up canceling. Yeah, so that's right. Sorry, I messed up my words for a second. My mistake. But altogether, we get 300 times 12 times 6, which is 21,600. So she's sending them more money in total. I mean, that's expected because the monthly payment is bigger and the loan is longer. And not only that, what about the interest? Well, again, anything above P0 that she's sending them is going to come from interest. So she's sending them in total this amount, right? We subtract off P0, that's covered. Anything else she's sending them is interest, and that's what this is. So again, on the plus side, she can get a more expensive car. On the downside, she's sending them a lot more money, right? She has a bigger monthly payment, but she can afford that. And thus, she's sending them a lot more interest. That's what we have. Okay, any questions on this? Because then we'll do something else. Do something from a later chapter. Okay. Now, remember what quartiles are, okay? You know, these are used to help us see how spread out the data is, okay? That's what quartiles are. The idea, if I remember, the idea is that between each quartile, I think you have the same percentage of data, if I remember that correctly. You know, below Q1, you have a certain amount. I think it's 25%. Between Q1 and Q2, you have 25% of the data, and so on. But anyway, there's a procedure here for calculating the quartiles. This is how you find Q1. We have done this before. You always sort the data from smallest to largest. For Q1, you're computing this. You're going to find this number. We'll do an example, don't worry. Now, if that L here happens to be a decimal, like 1.2, 2.5, I don't know, you round up to the next whole number. So if you get, like, let's say 12.1, you still round up to 13. You still round up. That's what this notation is trying to tell you. Then you use the data value in that position. Now, if instead L were a whole number, then you look at the number in the L and the L, in the L and the L plus 1 position, and you take their average. You know, their mean. Mean is a fancy word for average, okay? Good. All right. Now, with Q3, right? It's the same procedure, except your L is going to be this. I mean, this is saying 75% of the data is below Q3. And then for the median, right, that's the number in the middle. Well, it's one way of measuring what's in the middle, but you can do that. There you would use 0.50 times that. I mean, we did have another way of finding the median. This way works as well. Okay, so let's do an example. With the five number summary, remember it's the minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the maximum. Okay, you know, it's in the notes, so you don't have to memorize that. And also, again, the notes are posted on the, what do you call it, the content in Blackboard. I mean, these notes aren't. I have to go through them a bit, but they will be posted. Okay, so this is the data. Again, to sort it, I would just, I mean, this is not terrible, but I would just go to something like Excel. I put Google Sheets here, you know, type the data in a column and all this. We've done that before. You know, I have shown you how to sort that data. You have to sort it, though, from smallest to largest. If you don't do that, the answer is not going to be right. You know, we have done that before, okay?